Hello everyone, this is a History Police video that looks at a specific clip of this time Warfall Season 1, Episode 6. And it's basically about Anne Boleyn's trial. And what I think I was going to do for this video is, obviously we're going to watch it together, we're going to review it together, but I'm also going to bring to you the real history. And I'm going to share with you what we actually have about the trial. So let's do this. So we have here Anne, who is entering, the court. And the court is held at the Tower of London, in the King's Hall. And I want you to imagine that for her, obviously the Tower of London used to be a very happy place. This is where she was received when she was about to be crowned Queen of England. And she was received by Henry at that time in 1533. And here, obviously, it's completely different. On 15th May 1536, and there's no happiness inside. So we're following Anne, and we are with the ladies in waiting. She looks around her, but you can see the tension in her eyes. She's going to sit, and now she's going to look at her uncle, the Duke of Norfolk. She is still very much majestic in the way she does it. She's almost defiant. The Duke of Norfolk is the one presiding. Now, do we know if this was true? Well, according to the source that we have about the trial of Anne Boleyn and Lord Rochford, George Boleyn, her brother. So here what's interesting is obviously we don't have Lord Rochford in that scene. It was held, indeed, before the Duke of Norfolk, Steward of England, at the Tower on Monday, 15th May, 1536. So here it is what we have in the source. We have it in the scene. She looks in his eyes and she is feeling quite threatened, maybe one could say. She doesn't really know what to say. And we have all these candlelights where obviously everything feels closed. So here it's very hard to see or to say that if it was held actually at the Tower of London in the King's Hall. But it really was. But here obviously the goal here is to make it look even more sinister than maybe it was. And it's to show maybe like the darkness that is now part of Anne Boleyn's life. So now we're going to have the trial that is going to start.
You said when the king was dead, you would choose one of these men to be your husband. But you can't say which yet. Did you say that? You must answer aloud.
No.
So here they refer directly to a quote that Anne Boleyn might have said. It is one of the biggest accusations against Anne Boleyn, where she might have said to Norris, Henry Norris, about his constant presence in her apartments, and had said that he was looking for Densman's shoes, for it ought should come to the king but good, you would look to have me. By saying that, they said that she was imagining the king's death, and that therefore it was treason. Just to think about, just to imagine a life without the king, just to imagine, just to mention the king's death, this is high treason. Now, what's very interesting is that this is not said in the primary source we have about the trial of Anne Boleyn. They do not seem to bring it up. Another thing that's very interesting is that I'm not sure that it was Cromwell who was asking the questions during the trial. So I think we can assume that he was present, but he was probably not the one leading with the questions. Or actually, it's just not clear in what we have. They accused her in the text here that for 3 years and more she, despising a marriage and entertaining malice against the king, and following daily her frail and carnal lust, did falsely and treacherously procure by best conversations and kisses, touchings, gifts, and other infamous incitations. They laying out all the blames against her. She had never been a good wife to Henry VIII. She's always been plotting against him. They're pretending that she's never been faithful to him for long 3 years. Now, I want you to realize how ridiculous it is, because it also means that no one really realized how she was for long 3 years. So it means that for 3 years she had the time to be that unfaithful to Henry VIII. Now let's go back to the scene.
Do you not affirm that you could never love the king in your heart?
No.
Did you not at various times and places, by kissing, touchings, and other infamous incitations, induce?
Okay, this is very good here, because it's the exact quote I just gave you. They used the exact word touchings, kissings, infamous incitations. That is just so good.
Francis Weston to be your concubine?
No.
Did you not make gifts of money to Francis Weston?
Yes.
Okay, so here, first of all, it is very normal for kings and queens to have favorites, just men and women, and to offer gifts. So here, obviously, that was, there's nothing really surprising. But let's check if she actually did that, or if it appears in the record of the trial. It actually did not appear at all. That it was not mentioned, and that there's no incrimination about her giving him money. What follows in the text is date and places where she has been unfaithful. And we have 6th of October, 12th of October, 2nd of November. We have a crazy amount of dates with different men, and including, obviously, her brother. We have all these accusations laid against Anne Boleyn, and they're all wrong, and it is very hard for, obviously, Anne Boleyn to hear all of that. They also accused her, obviously, of conspiring the death and destruction of the king. The queen often saying she would marry one of them as soon as the king died, and affirming that she would never love the king in her heart. So in many ways they did keep some of a few things in the scene of Warfall, Season 1, Episode 6. That is quite historically accurate.
Found unanimously guilty. Thou shalt be burned here within the tower, or else to have thy head smitten off as the king's pleasure. These fellows say I've done it wrong. They say I have to say burn only.
The phrasing is the king's, and don't tell me what we can or can't do. We never tried a queen before. Finish what you say.
We've never tried a queen before. This is crazy. They're not even agreeing. And here, though I'm not sure they would have had this sort of disagreement, because I think it would have been, everything would have been done and, explained before what, it was a foregone conclusion, right? So I don't think that it would have happened, but here is just to make it a bit more dramatic. But also another thing is true that is first she was declared to be burned. Because that was how, traitors were executed. But the king, Henry VIII, is going to be so magnanimous that he's going to say, no, she can be beheaded. This is bloody ridiculous.
Head smitten off, as the king's pleasure shall be further known
here we have Anne who's looking into the eyes of Cromwell. And it must have been such a difficult situation for her. But more than that, we know that Anne actually cared about the people, about the men who had been wrongly accused. And we have in the text where she basically said, I'm just going to paraphrase, I know he wants my death, talking about Henry VIII, but please save these innocent men, because she knows that they're innocent, she knows she's innocent. This is such a good scene. Wolfall, I think, really depicted like the darkness and the brutality of her trial, though they could have done more, because like they just made her say yes, and when really like all the accusations are absolutely ridiculous. The dates don't correspond when she's not the right place. They say, you know, you're in Hampton Court. No, I was in Greenwich that day. You know, like it's such a big setup that is so obvious, and I'm not sure it transpires in that scene and in that show, and probably it's because obviously it's through the eyes of Cromwell and he's just doing what he wants to do. But yeah, I think that's interesting, the darkness and how she was so strong. In a way, I believe that it's a very good depiction of what happened. But I think, you know, instead of giving her this kind of cold attitude, like a bit superior, I think she was much more of a fighter. Like, oh, come on, really. You know, like I think if we were recreating a scene, acknowledging that we would not have everything, all the words that have been said, you know, in record, then maybe we would have given her a bit more fire, because Anne Boleyn was a bit more fire than she's depicted in Wolfall. I really hope that you enjoyed that video. Let me know in the comments what you think of this representation of the trial of Anne Boleyn. Thank you so much for watching.